Hey everybody and welcome to the channel. This video will give you some tips for your travel plans this summer since most of you like me just can't wait to explore some Italian beaches. Just a heads up, those who are interested in saving money will want to pay attention about halfway through this video for information on ways to save on flights, hotels, cruises, and more. No strings attached. I do want to mention I tagged this video as paid promotion since what I will be sharing with you is one way you can help support the channel, especially for those of you who have already asked me if it was possible. Again, what I will share later on in this video can't hurt you at all. In fact, it's possible that it can save you a lot of money. And at the same time, send some support our way to keep this channel with consistent, hopefully amazing content. For sure, amazing content. Just remember, if you save money, I get rewarded. That's how it works. Let's get to it. Isn't the goal every year to make memories that last a lifetime? I can still remember New Year's Eve 2019 when I said to myself, this is going to be the year that I visit every region of Italy. Having already visited Lombardy, Apulia, Sicily, Veneto, Lazio, Liguria, Tuscany, Campania, and Trentino, it meant just over half of the 20 Italian regions would have to be split across the upcoming 12 months. Needless to say, 2020 has been a year to remember. Just not the way we expected. Like me, many of you had to change plans for both business and pleasure in the wake of recent events. Canceled flights, social distancing, and postponed life goals are the new current reality, amongst other things. Well, it's the beginning of June, and as Italy starts opening its border, I'm done postponing anything. I'd like to prove the myriad of Italian newspapers wrong since they're currently reporting that this will be an all-Italian summer. Since though Italy is welcoming all countries, the neighbors aren't as ready to allow just anyone to cross into their homelands. It might be hard to find some connecting flights without going through some of these countries. So if you can fly directly here, you're better off. Seems a pretty pessimistic outlook, if I can say so myself. But I suppose that's normal for the news. Either way, I happen to know that there are still people out there planning a trip to Italy ASAP, and due to this, I'd like to offer some travel tips as you begin to prepare for your post-epidemic ambitions. A question asked by many is, when can I travel? And I'll be posting some links in the description that you can follow and find this information from some Italian news sources. In May, 14-day quarantines were the norm. And if you think about it, 2 weeks traveling to Italy and self-quarantining for 2 weeks is pretty much a destroyer of fun when you are coming to Italy for 1 or 2 or maybe 3 weeks total. All that time spent in self-quarantine in such a beautiful country would discourage anyone from visiting. Starting today, if all goes well, Italy will start accepting visitors from most of Europe without restrictions when they arrive. Up until this point, tourism has been discouraged, if not also prohibited. But starting today, access will be available without self-quarantine restrictions to visitors from the majority of European countries, though visitors may be required to quarantine when they return home depending on their country's current expectations. Countries outside of Europe will most likely be allowed to visit after the restrictions lift June 14th, at the same moment in which Italy allows the remaining closed businesses like cinemas to reopen. How will my flight be different? This will probably be the most anxiety-inducing portion of the trip. It will be interesting to see how flights will implement safe social distancing rules in such tight compartments, but you've never flown in a cleaner airplane than you will starting this tourist season due to more controls on hygiene standards. From what I understand, the airlines have been more sympathetic to flight cancellations during this period regarding the credit reimbursement of your ticket. And will continue to provide better customer service because, let's face it, without you, they're sunk. They've learned it firsthand this period. Another question is, can I take the train, subways, and buses? Yes, though the space has become limited, these forms of transit have already started marking off seating and standing positions in order to maintain a safe distance. Not everybody is convinced that the public transportation is the way to go. For example, my wife that works in Milan is working from home currently and will be for a few more months because she typically takes the bus and then the subway to arrive to her job. And unless she can start driving herself to work, they want her to just stay home and not bring the sickness with her. There are many other businesses that feel the same way. Right at your own risk, but they are taking measures to ensure your safety. According to the latest decree, face masks are to be worn by anyone over the age of 6 who does not have a disability which restricts that ability to wear one in all public closed spaces, travel included. Now, is this taxi safe or can I rent a car? Phase 2, that began in the beginning of May, like May 4th, had restrictions for wearing a mask for taxis and rentals, complete with a driver, and in cases where you're not traveling alone. It could be safe to say those restrictions will continue after a period after the reopening of the borders. In other words, I recommend bringing a face mask. Renting your own car without a driver is a different story. What about the hospitality industry? Can I book a hotel? Yes, in order to provide you a safe refuge while visiting Italy, hotels are being held to a high standard, which includes social distancing of at least 1 meter and prohibition of handshakes and other contacts. Use of face masks and gloves and possibly other protections. Presence of packs of liquid hand sanitizers in common areas, corridors, reception counters, rooms, etc. Ventilation of the premises of employees and guests as soon as possible. Cleaning and sanitizing of rooms and objects must be carried out repeatedly according to a general practice that has always been the basis of hotel hygiene. Is an Airbnb a better option? I think that's for you to decide. Airbnbs are also being held to a higher standard, though their list looks more like something that I would hope they were following previously. The biggest adjustment for Airbnb hosts is the time period between when they can enter the room after the previous client left in order to clean it. It is 24 hours, which really limits the back-to-back booking of their property. And if the host can't commit to the higher level of cleaning, they'll be assigned a 72-hour blackout period between guests to ensure safety for Airbnb customers. It'll definitely be a hit on the host's wallet, but apparently Airbnb is set on prioritizing your safety. Whether you prefer hotels or not, you can expect the hospitality market to have made some adjustments for your summer 2020 Italian experience. On that note, as I mentioned in the intro of this video, I'd like to share my discovery of an invite-only travel website that is, from what I understand, seriously saving people a lot of money. If you'd like to stay in 4- and 5-star hotels on your next trip to Italy for 3-star hotel prices, feel free to contact me by clicking this link, and I'll send you details on how you can get access. I'd like to prioritize people that are actually going to use it, since I only have so many invites to share. If you're the type that enjoys a good roach motel, this might not be the site for you. But in a moment, I'll describe a guarantee that just might change your mind. Let me show you a quick example, as I've been planning a trip to Naples myself to visit the consulate for something they apparently can't do here in Milan. Now look at this. So I thought I'd set up a situation where I'm comparing apples to apples. We're going to see if I can save money on my trip to Naples. I'm not sure about it, but they do say this website helps. So I'm going to go to Naples, and I'm going to go about, let's see, September. Let's choose the 15th. It's not actually sure which day I'm going to go. So I've already set it up here, Naples on the 15th, 16th, and it's just going to be 2 adults. So I'm going to hit search on both of these websites. One is finding the best deals, and the other one is just circling. I need to view in the map because I have a very specific location I'm going to go, and I happen to know that if I pull this over, I can do the map view there. Let's go back. Okay. So from what I know is that I'm looking for a hotel. The place I'm going is here. Zoom in a bit and look around that same area and see what we can compare. So there's not exactly a hotel in that spot on that day, but I have browsed a little bit previously. I know this hotel pretty well, and you can see there's 4-star hotels, 4-star, 5-star hotel, and that's probably where the most savings comes in, 12%. I think it depends on which room you're really going to get that you can save 12%. Savings of 7% in this case. Now, I'm the type that usually goes for the cheap stuff, and so for this experience, I'm going to actually look at this 5-star hotel and compare. It looks like I can see both examples. Grand Hotel Parkers, Grand Hotel Parkers. And it says the total tax was $211. It'll save me 10%. 10% is like $20, right? $21. And this is also 10% off at the moment. Well, so they are on sale basically, and it might just be because of this period. Nobody's traveling as much, and so they're trying to draw some attention. But if I go into the details of both of these websites, I broke one of them. Go into the details of there we go, of both of these websites, and I immediately come into seeing a list of rooms, okay? And here I see a more attractive appearance. I see some of the amenities, and then I start seeing the rooms. And this is what I want to compare right now. So they're saying that the public price is actually $237, and they're advertising about the same. If I open this up, it says total with tax is $212. This total with tax is $248. Now, there's a little bit of a tricky situation because Italian taxes, sometimes there's a tax due directly in the hotel. If I just go by picture, it feels like this room belongs with this room with a standard sleeps two guest room. And if I compare the price details, it says for everything, we can even compare easily the non-refundable room only, $212 a night, $215 is the public price. The public price is actually going to be $248 because of taxes and fees, $22, local tax, $11. Let's see what happens when I try to book this one on the website I'd like to share with you. $236 is the public price. $192 of a subtotal with $19 of taxes, and that brings us to $211. So I'll be paying $211 here and $248 here. So you can see already I've saved $37 in this 5-star hotel. Even with their advertisement of a 10% off. And now I need to double check that it's a king room and all that to compare apples to apples, but from what I can tell, the pictures were the same on the same day for the same number of people, and they have the same benefits, really. No cancellation. One of the other things that I really like about this website is you can find up at the top of the page. And this is where it actually gets really good because, like I mentioned before, I was mentioning that guarantee that if you can find a lower price anywhere online, we will refund you 110% of the difference. And this is how you can submit your claim. You have to have had a reservation, and you have to do it within the 24-hour period from when you actually paid for it, giving the website URL and the competitor website price, including the tax. And if it's including the tax and you actually paid more than the competitor website did, then they are happy to give you 110% of your money. So you can even make money in this case if you can find a room that just happens to be apples to apples and more expensive. That's how much they believe in their prices. I haven't had to ask money back as of yet, but I do like myself a good guarantee. Just remember, the rooms have to be based on the same offer in order to get the refund. If you're interested, it's at no cost to you. Just click the link, fill out your name and email, and I'll get in touch. You can find yourself a memorable experience while most likely saving a bit of money, if not a lot of money. I've heard of people saving up to 35%, and at the same time, the company will provide you the means of supporting this channel, all because you save money. That was the paid promotion portion of this video, so you can relax for the rest of the video. I appreciate your patience. Let's move ahead by answering a few more questions. Are the beaches accessible? Italy wouldn't be Italy without its beaches for sure. Don't worry, the beaches are almost all open and will be by the time the majority of you can even enter the country for your trip. Most have already reopened, and those of us in one of the 5 major landlocked regions of Italy are a little bit jealous of those who have already made their first beach trip a reality. The last region to open will be Sicily, which is scheduled to reopen on June 6th. So unless you're coming today and leaving by Friday, there's a possibility for you to visit the beach even in Sicily. I've added a link in the description to a detailed article if you're curious if your region is open. Most likely it is. If you do visit, expect there to be a lot of emphasis on social distancing of 1 meter, and reserving your place at the beach will be more important than ever. What about my cruise? When I was searching Mediterranean cruises recently, I noticed most had canceled their itineraries, which makes sense during this period, but Moving ahead, what will become of the cruise industry? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't want to lead you astray on anything, but as long as they're capable of following similar safety protocols as hotels, flights, and other forms of travel, I'm sure such a rewarding enterprise such as this will find a way to provide service for as many consumers as possible. By the way, the website I mentioned earlier isn't solely for hotel reservations. Like most other travel sites, it includes airfare and car rentals, in addition to discounted cruises, week stays, and various other experiences. For those of you already planning a trip, you're probably curious about the museums and other landmarks which make Italy famous. The last businesses to reopen in mid-June will be those that involve large enclosed groups such as cinemas. Being of similar nature, you might be surprised to know that museums have been open since May 18th and continue to service patrons as long as you're wearing a mask along with regular social distancing guidelines. That's it for this video, though there are most likely a lot more questions you're seeking answers to. As always, stay safe in your travels and try to live your best life even if you don't intend on visiting Italy soon or even at all. Either way, you can expect more content ahead, so at least you can do so from the comfort of your home. That's kind of the whole point here. On the channel, I had previously been targeting 3 videos per week, and I'd like to gradually build back up to that, but you can definitely expect to hear from me every Wednesday and Saturday Rome Standard Time from now and through the foreseeable future. Don't forget to click the link in the description to request access to your discount travel site. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.